Thursday, August 22nd, 2019. I randomly decided to learn how to backflip. I hurt myself. I got really close and then I landed on my face. But I felt inside that I needed to try again. So 5 months later, I went back to it and I landed my first backflip. On that day, I also fell in love with an idea. No matter how hard it gets, it's all about practice and you'll do whatever you want. 11 months and 41 skills later, I wanna answer the most popular question on this channel. Can you still do all the skills you learned? Starting from juggling 3 balls. I really have no problems with this one. I kept practicing it every once in a while and it's pretty easy. Next, draw imperfect circles on a chalkboard. You have to become a compass. And I was really curious to see if I was still in fact a compass. The first attempts were pretty bad, and nothing changed for 2-3 minutes. But then I started to remember the correct theory. I haven't tried in months, but the technique was there. And after a few minutes, I started to get pretty good and consistent results. And now it's time for the 360 and 540 kick. This is the skill that hurt me the most. After the video, my wrist was hurt pretty bad. And that's why I have this now. But it's also one of those skills that gave me the best emotions. And so I couldn't wait to try it again. This time I took a few minutes to warm up and stretch properly, and only after that I started practicing. I had no problems at all with the 360 kick, but the 540 kick is another story. I'm getting it, but it's extremely low. In fact, I was landing it, but it was bad, so I kept pushing and failing. But then I started to gain confidence, and even if the autofocus died on me, I landed the best 540 kick of my life. Let's go! Now, the handstand. It took me 1 week a few months ago to hold the handstand for a few seconds, but then I injured myself. And as expected, I wasn't really good at first. The key is keeping the body straight and balancing with fingers and wrists. After about 10 minutes, I was getting better, but I kept falling on the side. I thought I had completely lost it. But after another 15 minutes, I've been able to complete one of the longest handstands of my life. I was in a weird position, but I managed to hold it for about 10 seconds. Yeah, this was nice. That's the best I can do. Picking locks. 4 million views, by the way. I wasn't expecting it. I decided to start with the practice lock. It took me 3 seconds to open it with the picking tools and about a minute using the paper clips. Yes! While the real lock is extremely easy to pick with the tools, but it gave me a bunch of problems while trying to open it with the paper clips. This specific paper clip is too small to act as a torque wrench, and it bends, so I tried to use the real torque wrench and the other paper clip as a pick, and it worked every single time. Let's go! Next, Tailwhip on a scooter. When I tried in the past, this one got me a bad wound on my elbow. And even if I think it's a ton of fun, I haven't tried it since I managed to get it. So it took me a while to get confident with it. But once you really understand the theory, it's pretty easy. And in about 10 minutes, I got it. Yes! Let's go! The kickflip. This is the skill that got me more tired and one of the hardest ones I learned in my opinion. After 3 days, I went from 0 to kinda landing one single kickflip and I haven't tried since then. And so I was extremely curious to see if I was still able to do it. I started trying immediately with the ollie and already with this, it took me a while to start getting decent results. Let's try the kickflip. I started practicing and after 10 minutes, I was getting pretty close, but not enough. Another 10 minutes went by. I kept being close without ever being able to land it. For this video, I gave myself 30 minutes for every skill, to prevent wasting too much time and energy and not having anything left for the others. It's really hard for me to admit it, but I've been trying for half an hour and I couldn't land it once. Kickflip is lost, for now. I was pretty sad. Still got to keep up though. Absolutely no problem with this one. Pen spinning is one of the most popular videos on my channel. I learned 3 tricks 6 months ago and I haven't practiced a lot since then. The first trick is the thumb around, and luckily I still got it. It's a simple trick, it's easy, and it looks good. The second one is the charge, and like the thumb around, I don't have any problems doing it today. The finger pass is a bit harder, but after trying for about 5 minutes, I basically reached the same level that I had in the past, which is not that good. I also tried to see if I was still able to spin a basketball on my finger. This skill is really harder than it looks, and it took me a while to get it. But for some reason, this time I was actually much better than the last time I practiced a few months ago. Give it a try, it's pretty fun. Speaking of spinning stuff spinning is one of the coolest skills I learned in my opinion. And once you understand how to do it, it's really hard to forget it. This time I was just a little bit slower. There is so much silence today, it's crazy. I'm sorry, neighbors. Still got the whistle. Typing is one of the skills I use the most, every single day actually, and I managed to get about 90 words per minute a few months ago when I first tried. The first attempt was not that bad. 84. But I knew I could do better, so I kept trying. 89. Alright. I started to warm up and get better, and after a few minutes I typed 91 words per minute, and and I was pretty happy with that. I couldn't try the no-hand wheelie because to do it, you need to incline the saddle of the bike, and last time I did it, the saddle of my father's bike broke. So this time I only tried the one-hand wheelie, and I could do it without particular problems. Next year I get a bike to try the no-hands one. Balance on flips is one of the funniest things I learned. Still got that one. Absolutely no problem for the first trick. The second trick looks great. It's called Y2K, and even for this one I didn't have particular problems. The next trick is the Zen rollover, and I got it at first try. But then it was time to try the helix, which is by far the hardest trick. And as expected, this one gave me a few problems. In the beginning my movement was extremely mechanic and bad to watch, but then surprisingly it took me just a few minutes to get better results. And now it's time for the scary skills. Can I still front flip and back flip? Flips are the definition of fear for me. They are extremely hard. I don't like them. And that's exactly why I decided to learn them. I started with the front flip, and as always, in the beginning I was pretty paralyzed. But luckily I learned that the only way to do this stuff is just start doing something. So I threw myself in it, and slowly I started to jump higher and get confident. I was getting closer and closer. Yes! And after about 10 minutes, I landed one, but my butt touched the ground. So I tried again, and this time, I got the front flip right. Let's go! I literally don't feel my feet anymore, but let's go! In this exact place, I also learned one of the scariest skills I could think of for me. And I'm here to answer the question, can I still backflip? I put the towel where I landed the backflip the first and last time of my life. And just like the front flip, I started throwing my body to get used to the movement. I kept doing it for about 30 seconds, and then I decided to try seriously. Surprisingly, I've got immediately really close. Same story for the second attempt. I kept practicing, and I was always extremely close, but I really couldn't do better. At this point, I was getting pretty tired. And at a sixth attempt, this happened. I made a stupid mistake not committing, and I landed with all my weight on the left arm. I heard a weird sound coming from my shoulder, and I felt something moving inside it. It was hurting physically, but it hurt me more mentally, because from that moment it all went wrong. I kept trying for a while, but the more I tried, the more my shoulder was hurting, and the more I was scared to try and anxious to get it. And after a few minutes, I also kissed the ground. At this point, I seriously thought about giving up, but I wasn't happy. So in the afternoon, I decided to try again. I had pain everywhere, but I kept trying. After a bit more than 30 minutes, I was getting decent results, like why I used my arm there. But the reality is that my backflip is 100% hard and 0% technique. And for this reason, I simply always got really close. But I gave everything, literally everything. And that's why I'm happy. My goal for 2021 is improving my technique in a gym, in order to land it every single time. This is just the beginning. This video is sponsored by Skillshare, and I can hardly think of a better fit for a sponsor on this channel. They've got more than 25,000 of classes on basically everything you can learn, on topics including creativity, productivity, and much more. It's a beautiful way to find your passion and become good at it, with the help of highly qualified teachers and high quality classes that purely focus on teaching you something the best way possible. I've been a premium member for months, and I really can't recommend it enough. To my friends, to my girlfriend, and to you now. In the past on Skillshare, I improved my filmmaking and video editing skills, and I'm currently watching this beautiful class about street photography. Skillshare is also extremely affordable. With an annual subscription, it's less than $10 a month. The first 1,000 of my subscribers, so click the link in the description, will get a free trial of premium membership so you can explore your creativity. There are a ton of beautiful skills that I haven't shown in this video. I'm gonna go back to them next year. And everything you do, just remember, it's all about practice. I'll see you next year.